Hello again. We're back. Hats of the 20th Century Museum, hats and more. And I was talking about this little shaving mug when I was so rudely interrupted by an iPad that shut off. So here we go again. We'll start where we left off. Another shaving mug, very fancy, and an old razor. I can't imagine that the fellas actually drug that along their face and shaved themselves. Anyway, made in Germany. The blade is a little worn out. Okay, so coming down from the corner of the piano, I'm trying to remember what I've done. I didn't mention these little candelabras that are on both sides of the piano here. And of course that's because the piano is pre-electric house. And when we got the old piano, I don't know if I actually showed you the gingerbreading either. Beautiful old gingerbread carving. And a piano that is still has all of its ivories. It still needs to be tuned again. We did that once, and I don't get it played so it doesn't stay in tune. But when we got the old piano, Glenn's mother, my husband's mother, came over with these in an old candy box. These had been taken off of the piano that was given to her family when she was a little girl. And her dad was so ashamed, he got up in the truck and took them off so that the neighbors wouldn't see that they would have needed candlelight because they had electricity. So those are very special to us, and I didn't mind a bit screwing them into this old piano. Anyways, coming down from there, let's finish this situation. Beautiful old chair. I love it. Little poem here about every thorn there's a rose, but aren't the roses sweet? That's not old, just kind of pretty. Is a reproduction of something old. Here's some wonderful old opera gloves that my brother gave me. They're kind of worn out and dirty, and I don't know how to clean them, but I'm just going to appreciate them for what they are and figure who got them that dirty must have been having a good time. Here's a little reproduction of what the gals would have worn to the opera wearing these gloves. A little fascinator for their hair. It was good at the turn of the century. Okay, and some beautiful old shoes with the, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name. Louis XIV heels. Yeah, that was the popular heel at that time. And that reminds me, and they're always still in good shape. I can't get over it. They're supple, the leather's beautiful, they could be worn today if your feet were that small. And it reminded me of the shoes I forgot to mention when I was over by the lingerie dress. Another pair of stylish shoes with Louis XIV heels. Got a little ribbon situation on an elastic that's worn out. Maybe some sort of a shoe decorator that they used to have. I don't really know. Okay. Oh, and tassels. Tassels everywhere to hold back a drape or whatever. And that makes me think to reach across to something else. Here's a gorgeous old piano scarf. Just a beauty, I'm telling you. I had a grand piano once and it was gorgeous on it. But now it just lays on the edge of the chair, being an antique that it is. Okay, so here we are. We talked about a boater, the one with the coarse weave and the more normal weave. Old hat, lots of use. Underneath the boater we have a very peculiar to us nowadays, but marvelous old muff. You'd almost think that was bear skin fur, but I don't know. But isn't the face spooky? Gorgeous. The silk, or the whatever the lining is still quite nice, not torn to pieces. What a treasure. And here we have, now you might have to come around here for all the stuff in the way, but here we have a collar that is a very good match to it. And a clasping, we call them dress clips too, but also a fur clip that would have held it together. And this hat, on that goofy old thing here, this was a hat from my Aunt Mabel, so the poor old delicate thing falling to pieces, but kind of important to me. Behind here, we have a beautiful beaded cape The lining is, that looks like that. A little ostrich fur collar for it, held together with these little, oh, whether you can find it or not, the kind of chains they had. And then this little, kind of tiny little hat with ties that would have come around from the back of her neck and tied under her chin. Okay, so here we have a little book, American Girl series from 1884. Beautiful little framed thing about you and I. Everything had such meaning back then. Now, in this new frame is another cardboard filled with all of these little tiny pictures. And in there is quite a few aunts, grandmas, grandfathers, different people of the area where we grew up. It's really something. I wished I knew more about these pictures. They are the best pictures of these people, these little tiny ones. When you enlarge them on your Xerox or your copy machine, you've got something terrific. So I'm glad they had them taken. I wished I'd have known they existed while these people were still alive. I would have asked them more about them. A couple old books. I love old books. Children's school books, 1900. And a McGuffey Eclectic Spelling Book, 1896. Now in this box, now this is just a statue of the lady of the day, the way they looked, but it's not old. It's just a bargain I got. And in this wonderful pyrograph box is 3 books that are examples of the 3 top commercial artists of the day. Charles Dana Gibson, the one that was responsible for the Gibson Girl. So all the art in here, which I guess we could find if we thumb through it a little bit. Or maybe we can't. There. This is by Charles Dana Gibson, these pictures. And the beautiful cover. Another one is Howard Chandler Christie. His art is very important at this time too. And I did notice that I marked it with a picture of my grandmother. One of my grandmothers. I have 4, of course. And I think it's because she's wearing the hat. From the program I did, you might remember I started off with a polk sunbonnet. It was worn by that gal right there. So this is Howard Chandler Christie. The art's easy to find in that book. Okay, and the other one is Harrison Fisher. And there's an example of his art if we don't find any more. Naturally, I haven't read any of these. Well, there's not a lot of art in there, but at least the cover is by him. Harrison Fisher. He has this elaborate signature. There we go. In a beautiful wood-burnt box that I got a heck of a deal on because my brother's an antique dealer. Oh, here's something that they called anti-macasters. Macaster was a man's hair oil product. It was very popular at the time. This is for the back of the chair to protect the chair from his hair oil when he leaned back in it. It was usually a set. There's for the arms, and that was for the back. Anti-macasters. Okay, now, there's an old, everybody's seen an old cedar chest. This has long lost its cedar smell, but it's still kind of a beauty. Still has its legs and everything. Looks like some scarves in it. Old scarves. And here's another. Oh, look at this marvelous dresser scarf with the tassels and everything. A marvelous old chest. And judging from her hat, I would say this is more from the 1800s. The style she's wearing looks, you know, like 1870s or something maybe. Inside, oops, we have a little teeny hat. Who knows if that's for a child or what. Kind of a nasty old fur collar, but really there's nothing wrong with it. A type of a hat to wear in the sun if you had nothing easier. Or maybe it was a nightcap. And my grandmother's shawl and her slippers. An old shawl with quite a few moth holes in it, poor thing. And inside we have some brittle skirts that are full of moth holes and shattered silk. Can you get the buttons? Does it show with the light? Yeah. So you can see the best parts of those skirts without bringing them out. There we go. All of these things are so old. Oh, Okay, now we'll move through here. Let's, maybe without you moving through here, let's have a look at her. Here she is with a purse, these small purses. Here's one that's tatted. And yet this one, this is also tatted. They're called reticules when they're little drawstring bags that the gals always carried were reticules. This is kind of a hefty one. Our lingerie doll had one hanging on her too. Old cape from the day. Her clothing is kind of a mix of things that are and aren't old. I can't account for that. This beautiful fold in the back of the cape and the upright collar kind of had to be steamed and put back in place. She's got an old hat. Not too much to say about it. It's just very old and sad. But it looks great on her, so that landed there once and it has stayed there. Okay, now we've got her done. Underneath, oh, she's got spats on her shoes. Or overgates. They're called gaiters too, I think. Or overgators. And here's the shoe stretcher. Isn't that a marvelous old thing? Keep your shoes fitting right, I guess. Okay, come around here. Let's see, I'll just move this. Beautiful old baby stroller that folds. I won't do it probably, but yeah, you can see that it folds up. That was such a bargain in the antique store. And a little doll to represent the baby that would have been in it. There's a little baby's slip from this era called a Gertrude. Little infant slips that usually buttoned on the shoulders were called Gertrudes. Oh, you know, when I was talking about the bustles, the slight bustle in the back in the 1900 era, this is the type of bustle we were talking about. This is a brand new one. It's one of these items that never got sold, never got used. Still has a papery label right here. A nice, beautiful bustle. You could take out, oh, I can't see where you, there. There's what the inside is, kind of a wire mesh tubular situation. And here's one that isn't quite as fancy, a little more worn out. Might have a date on it. 1906, this one says. Another type of a bustle from the old days. Oh gosh, there's so much. I don't really know how we're going to do this. Let's start here with this old box. Kind of a mirrored box. Here's an interesting thing. I've got lots of pictures. We just can't look at them all, but things I have found interesting. A little very soft bonnet brush so that you weren't destroying any of the flowers or whatever with a stiff brush. Lots of pictures in here. What's this one with the... Oh, everybody wanted to be a Gibson girl. Here's my postcards, which I should have in the postcard album, but instead I have them in a small album, a modern day album. It's really kind of interesting when you... Oh, here we go. This reminds me now that the one I had ordered when I did the show and was talking about hobble skirts, I just printed out a picture of what had come. Now it has actually come. And there it is. It's a postcard about hobble skirt funny. Like these shoes, you could hobble better if you were wearing those shoes. Kewpie dolls. Lots of Kewpie dolls in the form of postcards. So cute. Okay, and I think when I was doing my program, I said you had to imagine Audrey Hepburn leaning on her parasol in a tight skirt and a big hat. Well, I should have showed you the picture of Audrey Hepburn doing just that in the production of My Fair Lady. Here's a copy that was never opened. That'll be an antique soon. Oh, here's more magazines, and I've showed you the inside of magazines enough that I shouldn't take you through looking at the insides here. But look at the outsides of this. There's a full page of Kewpie stories. I need to do that. Full page of Kewpies in here. Can't take the time to read it. And here is something very interesting. Rose O'Neill, the one that drew the Kewpies, her note on why there is no cutout Kewpies. There was always a section that had stiffer paper, and you could cut them out like little paper dolls. There's none here because she is on a trip Maybe if you just took a picture of that, they could read it for themselves. But she's, while on board, the weather was so rough that she couldn't honestly draw. So that's why we're missing them this month. Isn't that interesting? But what I love about the artwork was so beautiful back then. The little girl on the front and the back of her on the back. Isn't that something? And now our decades are going to get a little mixed up because we have some end of the two-decade period here mixed in. But isn't this something with the gorgeous artwork of the little people, the little soldiers? This is what year? 1916. We're getting ready to go off to war. And here we are, the War in Pictures, 1918, our sailors. And here's another beautiful magazine. This one I bought specifically to get the cutout Cupid. I ordered it from eBay. And when it came, that was the page that was missing. Isn't that something? You tried. Anyway, put that out. What's the back of that one? We won't go through it, but I guarantee you there's beautiful things on the pages. There we go. And there's an ad for Ivory soap. It's 100% pure, you know. Okay, we've done this. Let's see if we could just peel off. Oh, there's so many magazines and little booklets and interesting things. Rolls for the player pianos, of which I wish that one was, but it isn't. Different little brushes. I love brushes, little clothing brushes. Here's another one of the cylinder in a box with a lid this time. It's also an Edison with this picture on it. Well, let's see, I'm going to set that aside because here's something I want to try to get to. Here we have bowler hats. This one, because it's such a beautiful lining. You can see that. And this one, because it's a Stetson. And, Stetson. It seems like I had a picture of him, and now I don't know where it went. But anyway, John Batterson Stetson was our biggest hat manufacturer in this country in the late 1800s, and we all know his name. And there's a dapper fellow with a bowler on. Stetson made cowboy hats and all types of hats. But this is the thing that's kind of hard to get to. A puzzle. And it's the return of Captain Cook's expedition. I don't know how many pages, but can you imagine embarking on trying to put that together and making a picture of it? You would think maybe there was a picture to go by, but I have seen nothing of it. But that's quite the old puzzle. A nice little collar situation for a gal to change the look of her dress. A bowler in gray. This beautiful old picture. What I liked is her animal scarf, because underneath of all of this stuff I do have an animal scarf that is very similar. Here we go. Here's some of the faces. Here's one end of it. It's coming around. Here's the tails. And here's another face. So I think that means we're definitely past 15 minutes. So I'm going to start right here next time. Oh, let's finish off with the collar box. I'll take care of it. If you haven't known before about these items called collar boxes, where men kept their collars all laundered and ready to go in a curl in there. And their cuffs. Here's some cuffs. Should be laundered. There's some buttons loose. They don't look very laundered though, do they? But they've been there, you know, more than 100 years. Here's more collars and cuffs. So stiff. I can't imagine the men tolerated that stuff. And somewhere there's one with a little color on it. Here we are. Fell out of its box. There's a colored collar. Not interesting. And in here we have, oh, more collars, of course. Why not? Lots of them in their papers. These are probably new ones there. And studs and cuffs. Okay, this is King Edward of England, the reason that the next decade it'll be called the Edwardian period. Well, it begins in this this decade too. King Edward and his Homburg that I mentioned. He's the one that gave that hat its name. Another, this one's got the fella's name on it because they would leave these at the barber shop for their cup and their shave. Every time they came in, the guy just at the tonsorial shop just grabbed his cup. Seems like I should have a picture, but there was always a rack that had everybody's cups there, so everything was personalized and sanitary, using your own every time. More shavers, a little pamphlet about something about talking to men, facts about something, some cuffs. Here we have of the, I don't know which election, but it's William Jennings Bryan and Kern, 1908. I bet you that's a reproduction though. Okay, that brought us right down here. Can't look at all these pictures. Did I show you the straw dyeing though? That's something. That's not just a picture. To dye your straw hat, change its looks. Even came with a brush that looks much like the brushes that come with some glues and things today. Here we go. There's an advertisement for such a thing. Colorite straw hat dye. And a little old medicine bottle full of buttons from the era. Spenders on the side. Spenders and boxes here. We'll start right about here next time. Thank you very much. We'll call it a day. We'll see you again. Thank you.